All right, so we're starting the show with Logan Lucky
Logan
tonight,
Lucky,
the new Steven
Steven
Soderbergh film.
The guy who just can't seem to retire.
Guy can't
He
seem
keeps
to retire,
threatening it, and
can't
he
seem
doesn't.
to stop making heist films.
He loves it.
Has to make another heist film.
If you have to make a heist film, you got to hire Soderbergh. He's got it down to a science.
I guess that's so. I think so.
so.
I mean, I don't know about the scientificness of this film. Let's go right into
is
the
a
plot
comedy,
of this film.
at
It
the
is
end
a
of the
comedy,
day.
absolutely
Yeah.
true, as all the
for the most
all
part, very lighthearted films.
Oceans,
all the Oceans films,
52 and 53, they're all comedies to some extent. He does have a comic undertone, overtone to his maniacal bit of filmmaking.
Lately, at least.
Yeah, okay, we have Channing Tatum in this movie. It's a white trash film, basically. It's a very lovely white trash film.
Yeah, it's a beautiful-looking film.
I was waiting for Casey Affleck to come walking out of... I really was, too. I kept looking, hey, is that bearded guy over there? Is that Casey Affleck standing over there?
The film takes place mostly in West Virginia and Charlotte, North Carolina.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
And there is some John Denver music.
And they sing that John Denver song,
which
was quite nice at the very end.
It worked out well.
I liked it. And a little sing-along with a little girl at the
little talent show, right?
I just fast forward right through the whole show. I don't even want to see that show anymore. But,
he's referencing the fact that in the film, Channing Tatum's daughter is in a talent show.
Correct.
So she sings a John Denver song in the film.
You know, one of the best things about this film, I thought, was the relationship between... could you move your knee over just a flash? I mean, I do love...
You don't want to play kneesies?
I don't want to play kneesies. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I love the relationship.
Why don't we sit back, actually, so we're not hunched over like Quasimodo?
It's all right, but his name rings a bell. I got a good joke for you if you want to hear a really good joke. Real fast.
If you must.
Okay, here's my good joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I really love this joke.
Okay.
There's a man, he's on his deathbed. He is dying. He is going to be dead very, very shortly. As he's lying in his deathbed on the second floor, he suddenly smells some oatmeal raisin cookies.
Oh.
So he crawls out of bed. He goes crawling out of bed. He crawls down the steps. He gets halfway down the steps. He's going, oh my God, that's so heavenly. I must go closer to those cookies. I've got to get closer to the cookies. He gets downstairs, and there suddenly he sees his wife. And she's standing there with a big, giant rack of these wonderful oatmeal raisin cookies that she makes. And so he goes over and he starts to grab one. And she says, honey, no, they're for the funeral.
That's funny.
I like that joke.
I like that one, too.
There you go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get back to Logan Lucky. I'm fairly sorry. You didn't like it that much, though. Well, there you go.
No, it was a good joke.
Let's get back to the show.
So why don't we do a quick... We kind of skimmed over the synopsis of the film.
The plot of the film is...
Why don't you do that real quick?
If you'd like me to.
Yeah, you're already talking.
All right. So, he never shuts up, as everyone says. He's an egomaniac, this guy.
He's got a string in the back.
Talking. Go ahead. Okay.
All right, continue.
How did I know she was 12, officer? Okay, so, it's about a heist movie. It's about, there we have the illustrious Daniel Craig in this film, taking a brief hiatus.
Yeah, he looks like an albino with blonde hair.
He does look like a little albino.
He looks cool, though. He's got a cool look.
Edgar and Johnny Winter's little
I thought
brother.
he played a real good Southern character. I liked him.
I did like him, too. We have the beautiful Miss, what is her name again?
Riley
Kug or something.
She's we mentioned it before on the show.
She's the granddaughter of Elvis Presley.
Exactly.
Her mom is actually she's the granddaughter
of Elvis Presley.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
So anyway, this is a movie about a bunch of guys. There's an impending heist to be made. Channing Tatum gets fired from his job at the very beginning. He's kind of works in a construction kind of industry, and he's working near a racetrack.
Well, he was working underneath the racetrack.
Correct. He finds that there's a way to actually suck out money out of the vending machines that have these big giant suction tubes.
Yeah.
That like a Dyson, it never loses suction. Mm-hmm. So these tubes are just blowing money right down into the lower depths.
So they need to break Daniel
Craig.
This
whole thing. But Daniel Craig is in jail. We have a group of white trash gentlemen who are very
Adam Driver is one.
Adam
plays
Driver
his brother.
is very good.
He's good. He has one arm.
He has one arm. A very great special
effects.
They do great special effects these days with people with missing limbs, etc.
All they probably wear is a green glove, and then they
just erase it off. Exactly. They edit it out. And the first one, of course, was Gary Sinise back in Forrest Gump. Shocking.
Yeah.
He lost his legs.
And now it's down to a
science. And in fact, the film we're going to review later on today, Where the Hell is Monday? One of the great, truly one of the true just CGI masterpieces of late, I must say. We have 7 different variations of Noomi Rapace.
Yes.
But let's get to this film. It's a heist movie. Goes through the meticulous
each stage,
variations
back and forth,
of how we're going to do this.
flashbacks.
They have it all planned out.
Yeah.
I do like the way it is. It is never really presented to us, the viewer, except in the fact that it happens before us. So we are kind of impressed. Even to
it's not chronologically presented
precise,
to us.
and even when we think certain things have happened, we then realize later hey, there was a
exactly how they did it in
behind
the Ocean's
the
films.
Ocean's film. I mean, now I'll go right into my review of this
Please
film
do.
if you'd like.
I like it.
The one thing I am not happy about with Steven Soderbergh's film is they have a very not sour, but they have a misdirected sense of energy. We get into these scenes, there's like a flat line going on. There's like no energy there at all. And then the energy in the scene kind of begins to metamorphosize itself. And let me tell you, folks, I've never metamorphosized I didn't like. But, oh, please, stop. Okay, enough. But, all right, okay, thank you.
It's neither here nor there.
That's what I keep saying. But so we have this energyless kind of generation that goes into each scene, and then the comedy in the scene kind of brings the whole thing to life. I felt almost like this wasn't really. I think the film needed better editing. I think the reason why it failed at the box office because I think this film could have been a big hit. But the editing sensed it all wrong. Steven just has this way of not making a film flow nicely.
Well, I don't think an audience member is going to gauge the editing just from the trailers. I just think maybe the marketing in this film was off, and they didn't know how to market it. It's kind of a bizarre film. I think that maybe the NASCAR element might have turned some people off because that's very big down south, but the rest of the country could give a rat's ass about NASCAR.
No, that has nothing to do with it. I mean, you look at a film like Baby Driver, for example. Now, that's a beautifully edited little piece of work. We have a little chase scene.
Yeah, but the audience, but my point is, I don't think the editing is going to affect the fact that people didn't go see it in the theater. You're saying it was not a big hit. You can't gauge the editing of a film until you see it. So people not going to. That. I know, but you're saying the reason it didn't do well in the box office is because of the editing. People
in the scorecards that are given out to audiences before a film even hits the theaters. I think the editing.
You're talking about test screenings.
Yes,
yeah, but that's not going to affect the opening weekend box office.
The whole pacing of this film. That's all I'm saying. The pace of the film just lacked. It goes into like a dead space after each scene almost. There's
I would agree that I think the film dragged a tad.
Yeah, it did.
But I'm just saying that I don't think until you see the film that you're going to know that. So I don't think that can affect box office. The only thing maybe it could affect box office is word of mouth going forward. But I don't think opening weekend's box office can be affected by a bad pacing until the audience is seeing the film.
Well,
how can you judge pacing until you see it? But that's my point.
You just said to me tonight, the way it is tracking the Stephen King-based clown film, previously with Tim Curry as a TV movie, and now it's tracking at a $50 million opening. Because of the test audience that they're showing these films to and the excitement.
No. That's being gauged by interest on clicks on the trailers, social media awareness, conversation.
All right.
This film.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that...
All right, maybe so.
It's a very odd film in terms of you're presenting white trash characters robbing a NASCAR event. That's a very niche
I don't think
storyline.
So.
I don't think a lot of people even know about it. Look, we had dinner tonight, right? Yes. And we spoke to a girl who's obviously, I would say, millennial age. She didn't know anything about Logan Lucky. Out of the 3 movies we mentioned, she goes, maybe I heard of Wind River. So my point is... A film needs a lot of social media traction these days to get the millennial crowd in, and they are the biggest movie-going audience.
Well, regardless.
So if this film was not properly marketed to that demographic, you're not going to get the numbers.
Well, you're missing the point of my whole review here. My review is that I'm saying this film could have been changed a great deal in the editing.
No, I agree with you.
Where it would have been greatly more appealing as an audience member to sit there and watch this thing, just kind of blog on from scene to lackluster scene. I mean, there was great comedy in this. I did like certain scenes. I liked certain things, but they kind of just started off in such a lull that it took a while. The film never really
peaked, and yet I still like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still give it a thumbs up. I thought it was fun. I thought it was okay. I liked their characterization. It's good to see Daniel Craig doing something completely
right.
off the wall.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Channing Tatum, once again, is proving right down the road that he's a really good actor.
No, he is.
He's just excellent in everything he's in.
Everybody in this film does a really good job playing the roles. I thought Seth MacFarlane was such a douchebag in this movie.
He was terrific.
He was great.
He was great.
He plays this British energy drink proprietor who's kind of made a deal with a rival racer in this race.
Right.
And he's such a jerk.
He
has a rivalry going on with Channing Tatum and Adam Driver in this film.
Perfect choice for the role
great.
of him, too.
He's great.
Seth really does.
I didn't know it was him at first, honestly, until I saw his face.
His face gave it away, obviously. Very true.
But yeah, he was such
Adam
a
Driver was fantastic.
He was great.
He's so low key. Everybody's so low key in this movie.
Yeah, it was well done.
As I say, I thought I was waiting for Casey Affleck to come stepping out of nowhere and just bring the film even more to a lull. But I still like the film. It has a quiet kind of comedy to it that was enjoyable and subtle and very dry humor. There was no outrageous. Every once in a while, we might have a little bit of some, just some, meticulous little slapstick, but most of the time not. Most of the time.
You know who's, and usually I like this actress, but you know who I didn't really care for in this role, in this movie? Was Hilary Swank. I
liked her at the end.
Yeah, I didn't. I liked her in the last shot, but I didn't care for her.
Spoiler!
I didn't care for her.
Spoiler alert!
No, we're not going to spoil anything. I'm just saying she's in this film.
Well, she comes on at the end.
Well, no, I'm just saying. We didn't have to reveal it at the end, but I like her last scene. But
now people are going to say, "Where's Hilary Swank? Where's Hilary?"
There she is. Well, she doesn't show up till the last 10, 15 minutes of the movie anyway.
I know.
She's an FBI investigator.
She's an FBI person.
But I don't know. I don't know. Something about her performance I didn't like. But
I did like.
I didn't think it was a bad performance.
No, I thought she was
but
good.
something about it didn't sit well.
She played
but
very
I liked
straight-laced.
seeing
I liked
her sidekick Mason Blair in this film. He's the guy who was in Blue Ruin, and he also was the one that wrote that movie we talked about a few months ago. I don't belong in this world anymore.
Oh, right.
If I remember the title correctly, he's usually in some. He was in Green Room as well. He's usually in some dark indie films. It was nice to see him getting a pretty big, high-profile role.
I thought Hilary Swank was kind of doing almost a scenario from Fargo. She was playing that kind of a strict, kind of southern.
No, I could see that.
FBI kind of cop.
I just something about it just didn't feel. I don't know. It didn't ring true to me.
No, I liked Hillary. I thought she was good in this.
I probably liked the film maybe a little better than you did. I really enjoyed it.
No, I did enjoy it.
I didn't have issues with the pacing as much, but I did feel. They could have trimmed a little bit.
I thought it dragged on.
I know.
It was a 2-hour film.
I thought it dragged a little bit towards. I'd say the last 30 minutes or so. I thought they could have trimmed a little bit. Right as the heist was finishing, there were some moments where I started like, let's go a little bit,
All righty.
But overall, I recommend it. It's a yes for me.
I do too. It's a yes for me.
It's a yes.
Also.
It's a colorful film.
It's colorful.
The trailers are saying the most American movie of the year, and I could
lensed.
I could see that.
It's a white trash movie all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it really goes into the the rudiments of the Southern mentality, in almost more so than perhaps we might want to see. But at the same time,
but it worked. It was a film.
I'm surprised Donald Trump didn't do a rare cameo in this, and they could have
exactly.
bowed down and all carved swastikas on their foreheads.
I think the average person that would be at a NASCAR event probably voted for him. I would say not all, not generalizations, but a lot of them. That is his base.
Okay. Well, I think it's more of the Southern. I mean, if we did the Indianapolis 500, and I don't think I think those aren't necessarily all white trash folk, but this is simply just because of the setting down in the South as it is. I liked the film, though. I did. I enjoyed it. It's a little lengthy.
And I would say, in terms of white, I mean, I don't think all the characters came across as that stereotypical white trash. I would say Daniel Craig's two brother characters definitely kind of fit that mold.
Come on, everybody. Channing Tatum, his sister, Adam Driver, they were all kind of
I don't know. I mean, but they weren't all living in like trailers.
Well,
Channing Tatum kind of lived in a trailer.
White trash is more of an educational thing, more almost than a. And I shouldn't say that because there are many white trash folks. If you want to, and I use the term white trash evading to a lesser of an education, perhaps, of folk. They can live in, as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is white trash. He just happens to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
But, there's a certain mentality that overtakes that particular unkind phrase of white trash. And I
picture white trash.
But there still is intelligent. There's still intelligence.
I picture trailer park. I picture education. I agree with. I picture a lot of them can be in crime, alcoholism, moonshine, bootleg, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Anyway, I know what
you're saying. A guy introduces his wife, and it's him and his sister standing there.
Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum.
It's neither here nor there.
So, anyway, so 2
we
yeses
can,
for Lucky
2
Logan.
yeses for Logan Lucky.
We're already at 18 minutes. We got to
It's
move
not
forward
Lucky
real
Logan,
quick.
man. It's
Logan Lucky,
Yeah,
whatever.
there you go.